What's going on, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers? This is your boy Porter Rock 77, your only friend these YouTube streets, coming back at you with another educational video. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. I hope you stick around by hitting the subscribe button and of course hit that bell for them notifications. And then of course check out the description box. You'll see the link to my Twitter. Hit me up there with a follow so we can continue the conversation. All right, so a follow up to my last video. Appreciate the love I got from the last video. A lot of people learned stuff. Some people, hit me up on the DMs. Mostly because some, I have a huge audience that's young in age, according to analytics, and many started gaming late into the PS2 gen or early into the PS3 gen, and like at some point, every one of us started gaming somewhere, and at that time, it was just. They bought a console, they played games. But now that you're older, you're more interested, the hobby's growing. And at a certain point, you want to do more than just buy a game, put it in, and play it. You want to learn about the hobby. You want to learn about the developers. You want to learn about, just the trials and tribulations console goes through. And a lot of people came, and thanked me. So many of you in the comments appreciate the video, the perspective of the PlayStation 3 specifically, especially if you're a PlayStation fan like myself. And I'm just saying, hey, I know you guys are saying thank you, but I say thank you for listening. I appreciate all the love I'm getting and the support. This is awesome because I'll be honest, all my life, I ain't gonna say, I'm exaggerating, not all my life, but for those of you who've been around, you may have known and remember that I started being interested in industry via the PlayStation 1 and N64 gen. That generation is where I started looking beyond just playing the games and just buying the hardware. Simply because previous to that, whether it was through my parents or through my allowance money, however, I used to get everything. But I never understood why so many stuff failed. I never understood why the Sega CD didn't get support, or why did the Bazooka, when I bought it for Nintendo, there was hardly any games for it, Or why did the 32X, which made games graphically look great, hardly anyone was making games, So it's those things over and over and over. It kept happening. TurboGrafx 16, TurboGrafx CD. It was just a lot of things that I just didn't understand why we didn't get a lot of games. Not until I got into learning more about the industry, learning more about gaming beyond just a review article and pictures from E3. And that's when I learned this about sales and market share and competition, third-party support, third-party deals, and the console war, at the strategic level between, all these console manufacturers. And then I saw the big picture. I saw sales impact support, stuff like that. And market share impact the support that you get. So I understood all that, So I appreciate you guys enjoyed the video. So I want to drop another video based on an article that actually came out 2 days ago. Didn't see much traction on it from many YouTubers, but I thought I'll talk about it. And it's from Gaming Bolt, and it's called Sony First-Party Studios Are Masters of Their Own Destiny, says former Sony dev. And they put in a quote, "We're foot soldiers on the front line of the console war." Now I'm going to say this. That quote alone, I absolutely love that quote. I love it. I hope, I imagine these Sony developers, they all having that attitude, that they're at war with anyone outside of their circle, that they got each other's back, and that they want the industry to know that Sony as a first-party developers, the team that they have, Sucker Punch, Naughty Dog, Santa Monica Studios, Japan Studios, External Dev Group, Guerrilla, that they all look at each other as one big military unit, and they're on the front line, and they're trying to show the world we are the best at our craft, and the only place you're going to get the very best is on this platform. If they have that mentality, absolutely love it. I think all first-party developers should have that mentality, because the truth is, who better than the first-party developer to take care of the platform that the company is trying to sell, And if us as a consumer, we bought that platform, then why should we expect less than the very best from the people who make games from that platform? Everybody heard before that of what I consider, third-party games. Third-party games are a community pussy. It's just something everybody just takes a stab at it. It's just something that everybody gets to play and stuff, That's it. That's why it doesn't bother me who gets the best version, whatever. Somebody's always gonna get the best version of something, whether it's because you have a more powerful hardware or a developer screwed it up on your favorite platform and did a better job on another platform. That's just in and out. At the end of the day, you enjoy the game, you play it, whatever. But those first-party exclusives, you're not gonna get those on another platform. Well, Microsoft kind of screwed that up by going on PC. I mean, well, whatever. You're not going to get, for the most part, you're not going to get those first party exclusives. And if the developer has the mindset, that attitude, that, hey, this is war. We're trying to be the best. We're trying to be better than anybody else. We're trying to make people to come to our team. We're trying to recruit people. Come to us, And that's a great attitude to have, right? So more on this article, and I'll link it in the description box. Stuart Tilley has been working with Sony for a very long time. He was previously game director of Wipeout 2048, as well as a senior producer on Killzone. And even after his former studio at Sony was closed down, his new studio, Firesprite, chose to stick with making games for PlayStation currently. They are working on the PlayStation VR. So he's sticking with the PlayStation, and we're about to see the reason why, even though he has his own new studio. But why stick with Sony? Surely now, having been given the chance to work on more platforms and reach a larger audience, you would think Tilley would have embraced that, right? Speaking to official PlayStation Magazine, July 2018, issue 150, he explained his reason for sticking with Sony. I never really been interested in Xbox in the same way. I don't know if that makes me a fanboy or not, right? But there were more practical reasons for sticking with Sony too, the most important of which was Sony allowing its studios to retain their freedom and independence while also furnishing them with resources. And that's a common theme, I don't think there's much in terms of first-party developers who worked with Sony or who are currently working with Sony that ever complained that Sony didn't allow them the freedom to make the games that they wanted. You saw what Cory Barlog did with God of War. He completely flipped the script, completely flipped the gameplay, new mythology, new everything, and it's absolutely fantastic. You see how Sony, as a publisher, defends their developers. You got, Detroit Become Human. People were going at it because it was covering, family domestic abuse. And what the Sony does, they go step out in front of the cameras, while David Cage and Quantum Dream Studios was getting, the media was already on the rampage, about, the insensitivity or, whatever the issue was with covering that topic in the game, which was domestic violence. Sony stepped in the middle, like, whoa, hold up. You'd be like, hey, Quantum Dream, we got this. Don't worry, we got you. Hey, let's remind all of you, these games are made by adults for adults. Okay? Any questions? No? Okay, go away. And that's a great attitude. So you saw how Sony did that, recently, with the whole Uncharted agenda, triggering, female, lesbian, all that stuff. Sony comes out with a tweet quick and says, hey, we're going to make games that covers all types of genders, that races, identities. It's going to be inclusive, not exclusive. Now, is Sony perfect? They dodging around the crossplay. They're filling around that. But as far as their relationship with their first-party developer studios, their own internal studios, they got their studios back. I remember, it's not Sean Layden. Was it Sean Layden? No, it's not Sean Layden. I don't know if he said that. No, I don't think it was Sean Layden. But one of the studio heads, one of the studio CEOs, I think it was the one before Sean Layden. Well, anyway, one of Sony Studios explained their relationship as a publisher. Their relationship is once it's decided, between them and the first party dev that, hey, this is the game we're going to make, their job now, once they certify, once they sign on, they be like, yep, make that game. Their job now is to remove as many obstacles as they can from their first party developer. That's their job. Their job is to make all these obstacles, all these things that could interfere from the creativity and the creation of game. They do their best part, and their first party developers have the confidence and they're comfortable with approaching Sony and be like, hey, we're going to have to delay this game and this is the reason why. And Sony would be like, you know what? Do it then. And I'm going to tell you, look at The Last Guardian. That game took almost 10 years to make, I think. Like 8 years. Let's say 8 years, 7 years, whatever. It was an excruciating, long game, long time to make that game. It crossed generations. It started on the PS3, did not work, moved over to the PS4, and then finally came out, That's the type of trust and just value Sony holds to their publishers. You know, you see how long Polyphony Digital takes to create Gran Turismo, but Sony allows that. You know, they allow those things. And if you saw my video yesterday, they have certain metrics on game development. You know, they want studios to try to create new genres, innovative games. If the game's not new or innovative and it's something that's already been done, then make the best you can. Tell them, no, this is going to be the best ever, because that's what they want to hear, you know? And then third, they make games because they have to. There's just some games, even if it's not going to sell, make profit, they have to make it to support the platform. It's not an option, you know? So the publisher mindset is outstanding. So think about that. Think about that mindset as a publisher. And you can see why Stuart is comfortable sticking and supporting Sony, right? Okay. Next part, he says, individual studios have their own culture and their own tech and their own games. And to a large degree, you are masters of your own destiny, he said. But then you still get the power of the mothership, especially if they get behind your game like they did with, let's say, Little Big Planet, you know. Tilley also described the idea of working as a first-party developer in context of the console war. I always described it to myself like you were a foot soldier on the front line of the console war, because it's the exclusives that make the purchase decision for people. So when you see Naughty Dog doing Uncharted, it's like our team scored a goal, you know. And of course, Microsoft have theirs, but you always felt like you were a bit ahead. Let's not talk about Nintendo, he laughed. All right. It's interesting to see how much loyalty developers end up having for their brand. In a sense, I suppose it is the result of Sony's corporate culture of fostering individual talent and respecting creativity. You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of these developers have that loyalty to Sony because Sony is loyal to them. Sony is fostering an environment where the developers can thrive, give them the resources, give them the motivation, the excitement to create great games, you know? Because Sony, like I said before, a first-party game has two jobs. In its own right, be a successful game. But the second job, and some people may consider this even more important, you got to sell the console. You know, because Sony wants that console in people's hands. Because once you put that console in people's hands, they make money off of everything. They'll make money off the annual subscription. They'll make money off of third-party sales through royalties, DLC content, everything. Everything you do in that console, Sony just benefits. So that one game is like a catalyst or a Trojan horse for so much more content to be bought, you know, from that consumer, you know. And Sony realizes this. That's why Sony puts so much focus on games. They always put focus on games. All of them. You know, it may take them long. They may not start out the gen, you know, with killer hits right off the bat. But I think it's safe to say at no point does Sony not think about making games, you know. As much as haters try to create that scenario with, oh, Sony can't afford to make games because, you know, they're releasing too much hardware. They released the Slim, the Pro, the VR. No money for games. Well, guess what? We got games. Oh, wait, Sony sold buildings, you know, they're selling buildings, they're selling stocks. They got rid of the computer business. They don't have money for games. We ended up getting games, you know. At the end of the day, the PlayStation brand has always been about games across all 4 generation consoles. Even when they were at their worst with the PS3, how many new IPs they just kept churning out. And again, a lot of those IPs weren't successful. But as I talked about yesterday, they still had to be done if they expect their platform to be sold, if they expect consumers to come to go buy that platform, you know. It is a PlayStation console. PlayStation console is for gaming, you know. Sony made a mistake with PS3 to do more stuff and try to put it as just as important to gaming, you know, like the Blu-ray movies and all that stuff. They realized that doesn't work. The priority is gaming. That is what PlayStation does. That's what it's supposed to do, you know. So keep that culture. I like the idea again of developers looking at themselves as soldiers on the front line. They're fighting a battle. They're fighting a war. They want to be the best. They want to win. They want to let the world know we are the best at our craft. We will provide the very best games for this platform, right? Because of this philosophy, I think the PlayStation 5 will be an extreme success because there's really not much else to do, right? If you got that philosophy, if a publisher has a philosophy of, hey, we want our studios to do the very best and we're going to support them in that endeavor. We're going to do whatever we can so they can help create the best games. And then the developers on their side is, with all the tools and resources and support that we get, we want to make the very best products innovative or if it's not innovative and it's, it's a tried and true genre, we're gonna make the best within that genre. And then some games we're just gonna have to dive deep and create some games. May not be successful, may not be a blockbuster hit, might be a niche title, but we're gonna make it anyway because we're gonna make the name. It's part of the culture of PlayStation. Once you have that attitude, which is to me is the most important part, of a company who creates a console, everything else is pretty much basic ideas. It's create a console, right? That's powerful enough to support third-party vision, because third party is going to let Sony, Microsoft, they're going to let everybody know, hey, these are the tools we're going to be working with next gen. This is Frostbite 4. This is Unreal Engine 5. This is the new physics. This is that. And this is about the stuff we're going to need. All Sony needs to do is create a competent product at a great price, that supports all the third-party visions and also supports their own first party on how they want to make game. They balance that, release it at a decent price, and continue to push content. That PlayStation 5 is going to be a banger. There's really not much needed in a gaming console because, again, there's not a lot of choices for gaming consoles anyway. You're going to got PC, an Xbox, Nintendo, or PlayStation. I know there's rumors about Google and Amazon. I'm going to make a separate video about that. I don't think those consoles are going to impact PlayStation or Microsoft. I don't think they're going to have an impact as much as a lot of people think. And I'll explain why. I'll make a separate video on that one. All right. And I know some people are going to be interested because some people already asked me about what I think about that. I don't think that's going to impact at all. And I'm going to explain why. I don't think they're going to be what everyone thinks going to be, And if, let's say, Google or Amazon tries to create a traditional console like the PlayStation or the Xbox, I think they're in an uphill battle. And I'm going to explain why on that one as well, right? But with that said, PlayStation devs, at least this one, has a mindset, they're foot soldiers. They're on the front line. They're fighting. They want to be the best. When they see Team Naughty Dog create Uncharted, that's a win. God of War, that's a win. Sucker Punch with Ghost of Tsushima, that's a win. Everybody who's on the team, get there. Get out there. Be the best that you can be. Develop the games that you want to develop. And you see the excitement the PlayStation community has. And even second parties. Even though they're not first parties, even second parties are highly regarded among this. So we're looking forward to Spider-Man. We're looking forward to Death Stranding. We just had God of War, which is phenomenal. Probably one of the top games of 2018. Detroit Become Human is phenomenal. And then we're still looking for Days Gone to kick off next year. Ghost of Tsushima is around the corner. Also possibly next year. The Last of Us Part 2. The game is already, when people saw The Last of Us Part 2, they thought it was next gen or on a dev kit. No one was really thinking it was PS4. Some people were pissed off saying, oh, here goes Sony again, faking the funk, showing us PS5 footage, pretending it's PS4. Some people even brought up, that Killzone 2 demo from a long time before 2005. And then come to find out, no, it's PS4 Pro. At the end of the day, the foot soldiers, in this console war. And let's be honest, they're slaughtering everybody at this point. First party studios is producing some of the, as a first party among all the first parties, they are producing some of the best new IPs and a lot of the best games this generation has, and it just keeps on coming. So anyway, you let me know what you think. I hope you enjoy this video. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I hope you stick around and subscribe. Don't forget the notification. Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what you think. What do you think about Sony's mentality or the developers, that they're foot soldiers in a console war and these guys are coming in to fight? Let me know what you think. Thank you very much for rocking out with me. This is your boy Porter Rock 77, and stay tuned for my Google and Amazon video. Come out a couple of days. And then tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 60 frames, no lag. All right? Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, all right? Welcome to the family. And those who've been here for the longest, thank you so much for the support. Appreciate it. Take care.